Hey everybody, it's Michelle Rushing with Stampin' Butterfly. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I am having another installation of Sale-a-bration Showcase, and tonight we are going to feature the Counting Sheep stamp set and dies. Both of these items can be earned individually for free with a $50 order. So if you order $50 worth, you can get the stamp set. If you order another $50, you can get the dies, or vice versa, or both, whichever way you want to go. But anyway, we have 1 week left of my Sale-a-bration Showcase. So we have this week's video, and then I'll do another one next Sunday featuring the Summer Shadows dies. And then you have till September 30th to earn any of the products from Sale-a-bration for free. And then it ends and they go away, and you'll be sad if you missed out. So make sure you tune in, look back to all the previous weeks, and see if there's anything that catches your interest. Feel free to email me or give me a call if you have any questions. And let's get started. So let's take a look at our catalog real quick. So here is the Sale-a-bration catalog, and these are the products, like I said, that we're featuring tonight. The Counting Sheep stamps and dies. So, you know, there's always some great samples in the catalog, so make sure you check those out. I always save them too as inspiration, so when I'm going back through my projects, you have, you know, different ideas to use. All right, so that's those. The stamps are the orange rubber, so they are thicker, and you just mount those onto your blocks. And then we'll take a quick look at the dies. And here's some extra little pieces. I usually have extra pieces floating inside. I use some magnetic sheets here to hold my dies down because the paper they come on have little tape, and they're kind of sticky, so things stick to each other. Anyway, so there's die cuts to cut out each one of your sheep. They cut out the hat also, and then they give you some fun embellishments. So a balloon. This one actually cuts and embosses your fence, so it'll give you like a wood grain. Some clouds, or you could use them as grass. And then a sun and a flag. So we'll be using some of these. And you can see I was playing around. This is one of the fence posts that we're going to use for the card tonight. And then I was playing also with patterned paper. So this is the Tasteful Textures, I think, paper. And I went ahead, and it's like some funky pink. It almost looks like a sweater. So I stamped the sheep on there and then embossed it with an embossing folder. So gives you different looks. And then you can also emboss little pieces. So I embossed this little cloud. The white's kind of hard to see, but I did that on that painted texture. All right, so we're going to set this aside. We will need some of these dies for our cards that we're making tonight. So let's take a quick look at those. So the two cards we'll be making, this one you haven't seen yet. This is new. And you're going to make your own little designer paper on the back. So this is my quick and easy card. And it says, "You're amazing," and then I put a little number 1 on his flag. And then I'm going to show you how to make this fun fold. Everybody seemed to really like this double Z fold. So it's fun. It fits in the envelope. So let me grab the envelope real quick so you can see. It fits in your standard envelope, and I went ahead and I stamped some fun stuff on there. But just as a quick aside, I always put them with the embellishments facing this way so I don't catch them on this rim. And so they fit in a normal envelope, just like a standard card. But what's fun is the recipient can open it, and they have, you know, you can write a little comment on there. You can also write on the back, and then they can display your little card. So it's really cute. So we'll be making that one too. But we're going to get started with the easier card. Just has a little bit of stamping, and I've pre-cut a few things. So let me get set up. Hi Heather, I'm so glad you joined me tonight. I'm glad you like the sheep. We'll go ahead and use the inches side. All right, so this is the guy we're going to make. So we're going to use some Memento Black, and we are going to use our blends to give him a little bit of highlights, and then we'll just use our Sharpie to write on the little flag. For this version of the card, I thought it'd be fun to change up the colors a little bit. On here I used real red, so it could be for a guy or a girl. And then the next card we're going to use hot pink, which still could be for a guy or a girl, depending on what their favorite color is. So to save time, I die cut some of our little pieces already. So we have our little flag, a little banner, and then I went with the black sentiment. and our little strip of paper. So we'll move those over there. And we'll go ahead and stamp the sheep first. So when you're using your Memento ink, well, let's see, we want the guy who's standing up. There we go. So when you're using your Memento ink, these are hard felt pads, so you can push down. Make sure you ink them up really good if you want a nice dark image. And then you go and just stamp them down and up. Probably didn't need to clean them because we're going to use them. All right, I already stamped the sentiment, so we actually don't need that one. And that's it for this guy. So we'll do a little bit of coloring in a minute, but I figured we'd stamp. We'll do the stamping first. So for the next part, we're just going to randomly stamp the sheep all over your paper, however you want to do it. I like to start with one type of sheep, and then just stamp it around, leave some gaps, and then you can put the next one. So I'm just going to ink them up and stick them in different places. Probably use my previous one as a guide since it worked pretty well for me. Make sure I don't get my inky fingers all over. All right, I think we'll switch over to the next one. So let's do the jumping sheep. And we'll stick them here. And we'll stick, let's see, put them there. And then let's go to this one so we leave some room. All right, so this is the one pointing up in the sky. He could be holding the balloons. And you're going to have the center kind of overlapped anyway, so you may not see some of them. Let's see, maybe we want him to go this way. And I don't think he's going to fit there. Maybe we'll turn it upside down. Let's see, do we want to put it? No, I don't think we want to mess with that because our square, let's test it. Our square is going to be there, but we do need a little something over here. So he's facing the right way. We'll go with this one just to kind of fill up our space. All right. So we can put away our ink. I'm going to clean these off real quick so I don't get more black ink on everything. Set them over here. We will need them for our next card as well. All right, so those are all cleaned off. Let's do a little coloring. So there's two ends. There's a skinny end and a brush tip. Depending on the size of the surface area that you're coloring, you can decide which tip you want. So since I'm just doing a small area, I'm just going to use the smaller tip. Now the color I'm using for the blends marker is Smoky Slate Light. So they come in a 2-pack and they're alcohol markers. And you're supposed to use the black Memento when you are coloring with the alcohol markers so that they don't bleed. And then we're just going to randomly highlight a few places. And then I also like to do, wherever they have the little dots, I'll kind of give the same shadowing effect that they did. So you can just color those in, maybe a few extra places. All right, I think that looks good. So we'll go ahead and set that aside. Then we're going to go ahead and just assemble our card. So we made our background paper. I feel like there's a little gap here, but maybe we'll just shuffle things around, put them in a different order. So it might be slightly offset. Move my glue over here. And just put a little strip of patterned paper at the bottom. Slide it over so it's even. And then we're going to mount this on here. Now I forgot all about my dimensionals. So I use lots of dimensionals when I make my cards, but I forgot all about the black dimensional. So I'm always using the white ones, but we did actually come out with black ones. And they work well when you're using darker paper so you don't see the white sticking out on the edges. So I think I'll use those tonight so you can see what they look like on this card. All right, so we're going to put a little number 1. Not the greatest handwriting, but ooh, that's terrible. Oh well. There you go. Number 1, like I said, don't have great handwriting. Then we're going to use some little dimensionals. So the white packs of dimensionals come with large And then there's a separate mini pack. But the black Stampin' Dimensionals actually have both sizes in them. And they come with 680 dimensionals, which go kind of quickly with the way I use them. But anyway, so we're going to use a mini one behind the flag because it's a smaller area, and then I don't have to trim it down. And we're just going to peel off the backing and put it in his hand. All right, so then we're just going to put this on the front of the card. So let's decide, since I made that big hole down here and it's kind of empty, maybe we'll do it that way and put the sentiment at the top. All right, so let's do a little strip of glue on here. And this little banner is from the Tasteful Labels dies. I use them quite a bit. They work really well. And this is just like a piece of scrap paper that I stamped on and did a rectangle. All right, like that. Need more dimensionals, so let's see. We'll use the large ones. I'll just stick a couple behind there. Move these out of the way. And then we'll peel the backing off. And I think we're going to do it offset, like I said. I think it'll look good. And let's see. Do we want his little face to stick out? Got to decide where we want to put it. Oh, hi, Bob. I'm so glad you're joining me. And Mom. All right. There we go. And little glue on there. So that way his eyes are peeking out. I like that look. And then we will just put it a little further near the bottom. All right. So there's card one. You can use your stamps to make your own background paper. So you can just randomly stamp it in any way. And you can see I did them in different order this time. They came out a little bit different. It always gives you a little different look. And then you've got your fun little card. All right, so let's move on to card number 2. Do you like the pink or the red better? You guys will have to let me know which one you prefer. All right. I'm going to move a few things out of here. We're going to need our black ink back. I think we'll do some stamping and then we'll assemble it. So I did a little bit of the cutting and die cutting in the beginning just so that we could save a little time. So you can see I used the wood grain paper we have from the Tasteful Textures paper, and I just die cut the fences out of there. And then I went ahead and die cut some of the pieces for this part of the card. I gotta move down here. So I did some of the front pieces already to save a little bit of time. And then we'll do these pieces in the back together. All right, where do I want to put the card? I guess we could put it up there. So here's one of the sheep. We're gonna need, whoop, there's all my fences. So, all right, I'm gonna put all the die cut pieces in the corner. I'm trying to plan this out. Got some markers. This time we're gonna use different blending markers. And another piece of the fence. They're all kind of stuck in my basket tonight. Okay, so you've seen the wood grain. We've already cut that, so we'll move that out of the way. We're going to do a little bit of scoring and move that over here. All right, so these are for our die. We're going to use the border dies on these. So we're going to set those aside for a minute. We have a tiny little hat that I already stamped and die cut. So we'll go ahead and use that. All right, I have extra pieces. What are they for? Oh, that one's for the sheep. See, I labeled it for myself because I have so many white pieces. This is going to be our sentiment, and then that's going to be our fun stuff. Okay, so let's go ahead and color. So we're just going to use the dark real red to do the dots. I find that the light real red is almost like a pinkish red. So if you just want real red, the dark is the better color to go with. And then Daffodil Delight dark as well. So we'll color in his little hat. And then that'll be ready to go. So we'll move that over here and out of the way. I guess we should put the sheep up there too, and the grass. That's all of our die cut pieces. All right, so this is the inside piece that I already pre-cut to go in here. So we're gonna go ahead and stamp the little birthday sentiment. And then we'll also stamp the sheep. All right, so you'll just ink it up. I like having the labels so you know the top from the bottom. So you try not to stamp it upside down. So glad it's your birthday. All right, and then let's see, so we already have the horizontal. We need the sheep standing up to hold the balloons. So that's that guy. Go ahead and stamp them on here. And then we're gonna die cut it out. All right. I think that's all the stamping we're gonna do for now. So we'll be using the Big Shot for a few steps tonight. That way you can kind of see how different pieces work. Let's go ahead and color them up. So we'll take our smoky marker again, and you want to give it a second to dry. So we're going to color him similar to the other one, and then we're going to emboss it with the Tasteful Textures embossing folder. So I don't know if you can tell. Let's see, where's the other guy? But it gives him like a little texture. Let's see. You might be able to tell from there versus here. Yeah, with the light at that angle, you can kind of see it. All right, so let's move that guy out of the way. Color in his feet and his ears. I mean, you can go to town. You'll see on some of my samples, you can paint their faces gray, or, you know, like a petal pink, blushing bride. So there's different options. I just like it simple, and I think the gray is a quick and simple way to do it. And let's see, give them a few more. All right, so let's see, what is our next step? Okay, so I think we're done stamping. We have to move some things out of the way. So we're going to bring in the Big Shot, and that takes up quite a bit of space. Probably could have even brought in the mini one. I'm using a regular embossing folder, so maybe not. Okay, so let's get the dies out that we need. A couple different steps. So our border dies, they do all kinds of fun things. Here's some examples. Let's open it up. So it's got a rounded, there's a pointed, and some fun like zigzaggy types, and then a scalloped edge as well. So, oh, and then there's this cloud one. So that's the one we're going to use tonight. So we'll be using this one and this one to do the grass. All right, so put that over here. And then we need to still die cut the little sun. So we'll take that out of this set, and a yellow balloon. We'll take that out. And you can see there's clouds in here. So we do have dies that came with it that make clouds, but I thought it was kind of fun to do this one that goes straight across the card. All right. So maybe we'll emboss. We'll die cut the sheep first, and I guess we'll emboss at the end. Haven't thought through the process. All right, I need to stand up for this. See if we have enough room. Okay, so when you're making your sandwich, the plates are labeled for you. So plate number 1, you'll have that. Then, because we're die cutting, we're going to need plate number 2. And then you never want to cut on these, so you should always have a sandwich for your clear plates. Oh, and we need the sheep die to cut them out. So, let's see. All right, that looks good. Don't move. And I could also use, hopefully it doesn't go crooked, but you could also use a piece of washi tape to kind of hold it down. All right, so now we have our sheep. Then let's go ahead, we can cut our sun and the balloon. I already cut the other colored balloons, but this way you can see how it goes. going to set those aside. Need my little pokey tool. Get the balloon out. All right. Well, I'm glad you could see the texture, Heather. Sometimes the white is hard to see things. All right, so what is next? Let's see. So we can do our green grass. So I have a strip of cardstock, and I just randomly guessed at the size when I originally did it. And we're going to make it like a hill. So I think we can just run it like that. And it could be, you know, however tall you want it to be. Now we have our grass. Set that aside. And now the clouds. So the clouds we have to do in 2 steps. We're going to run the first one through and decide where we want the zigzags to go. So I think that looks good. And then we're going to run it back through a second time. And I've done a card previously where I've layered a couple of strips of these all together. And that looks cool too, so you could do a bunch of those. But this time we're going to do it so that the clouds are shaped at the bottom as well. So let's see. How do we want our card clouds to be shaped? Those are kind of cool. All right. Might need some washi tape on that. We'll see if it stays put. Okay, I think that looks good. I'm going to run it through. And again, it's a random strip of paper. You can make it as thick as you want your clouds to be for your card. There we go. We have some fun little clouds. All right, I think that's all the die cutting we have. So now we have one embossing to do. So let's move some stuff. So we want to texturize our little sheep. So we're going to take the embossing folder and put them in. And it doesn't really matter which direction, it's just kind of random. And then when you're embossing, you'll see it says using 3D embossing folder, which this is, I labeled it, and it's thicker. So that's how you can tell. You're going to use plate number 4, and I guess the dog saw something good. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but she must be watching out the window. All right. And then we just run it through. So there's a bunch of steps. This is a little more advanced card, but the first one I did was quick and easy. All right, there's our little textured sheep. And then I thought it'd be fun to show you guys how this card came together. So it has a bit of embossing and die cutting, but it's not too bad. And when you see the way you score the card, it's not too bad either. So we are going to use a normal 4 1/4 by 11. This is a normal card front. We're just going to give it one extra score mark. Let me double check my measurements. I wrote them down. So normally when you're scoring this card, it would be at 5 1/2, and that's your normal half of a card. But we're just going to give it one more score mark at 2 3/4. And then the same thing with our little panel, and I believe this one's 1 1/4 inches long by 11, and we're going to score it exactly the same, 5 1/2 and 2 3/4. And you can do this if you have the scoring tool on your Stampin' Up! Trimmer. You can use that as well to score your paper. All right, so I think that's everything we needed. We can just assemble our card. I think I'm gonna put this down in case I make a gluey mess. All right. So we're going to go ahead and fold our card on the score marks. Let's pull our sample back out so you can see that. And then I'm just going to fold this one back. So it's basically like scoring the card in half and then in half again. Some people don't even score it, they just try to fold it, but I fold crooked, so I prefer to score it and then do that. And then we're going to also do this little piece right here. Going to Get a good score on that. And then let's see if I folded it back the right way. And then you want them to kind of line up. So now you'll see this one I flipped over, so it's exactly the same scoring, but in order to adhere it, you're going to flip it backwards, and that gives it its kind of fun fold like that. So now that we know that's the way it goes, we're going to glue our little fence posts on. So let's grab those. We have quite a bit of gluing to do and assembling. All right, so we're just going to flip the fences over. Use a little bit of liquid glue. Hopefully, I think it's good. All right. And then we're just going to glue them on the front here. And again, you're going to do that for all 4 of these. So what do you guys think? Did you think this looked like a hard fold to do for a card? It does look kind of scary, but it's not too bad once you see it broken down. So just line that one up. 2 more to go. And try not to make it too sticky on my paper. Otherwise I'm going to stick my card to it accidentally. And you can use regular cardstock, because it does a nice job embossing it. You don't have to use patterned paper. It was just a little fun added extra. And normally I use my silicone sheet, but I don't think I brought it over today. It's at my other table. So yeah, see, look, I got glue on here. I'm going to end up gluing my card down on my paper. We'll see how it goes. All right. There we are. So we're going to set that aside. And now we'll start assembling our card. So we'll put our little panel in the center. We have that already stamped and ready to go. And I have sticky fingers, so I think everything's just going to stick to me. And now we have our green grass, so we're going to run that along here. Just gluing everything on little by little. And we'll use some dimensionals on a few of the pieces as well. All right. So I'm waiting for the rain to show up. It seems like it's been rainy every day forever. The weather says it's coming, so I'm expecting the storms to roll in. All right, so next we have our clouds. You could even texturize these if you wanted. You could run them through the embossing folder and give them a fun look as well. But I think we've done enough of that stuff for tonight, so we're just going to put that on the card. And they don't have to line up exactly the front to back. It was just, you're just going to want to line it up on each. So it looks kind of cool when it folds. It won't be exactly the same. And then we'll do the grass on the front. And like I said, this has quite a few steps in it, but you can dress it up or down. You don't have to do the fences across. You could have just left it brown. I was just thinking of different ways to use all my supplies. So, oh, actually that one lines up even closer than my last one just by chance. Huh. And let's put our clouds on. We're getting there. I was like, oh, I think I lost pieces somewhere. Oops. And let's see. So these look a little bit longer, so we can go ahead and trim those off with scissors. So we'll just flip that over. Not that I cut it super straight line, so let's hope it works. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'll cut part of the card. Should use a paper cutter. Might have to fix it later. Ooh, my scissors. I think they need a little help. All right, well, you can trim that in your paper trimmer, or if you're better with scissors than I am, then you can do that. Okay. That's not too bad. All right, so now we are going to put this little sheep. He's going to be here. Let's put a little glue. Let's put his little party hat on. So we'll put a little bit of glue up here, Just a couple of dabs, and you could use a glue dot too if you wanted. Put cap back on. All right. So let's put it a little diagonal. There we go. So he's got his party hat. We're going to dimensional him up in a minute. I think we'll wait to put on the fence before we do that. We can put the sun, and we can use whichever dimensional. So I guess since it's a white background, I'll use my white. Ooh, new sheet. White dimensionals. And we'll just put that up in the sky. Take off the backing and drop it. It goes where it falls. All right, so there's that card. Now let's see what's left. We want to put our sheep, so he's going to be here holding some balloons. Then we need to make sure there's room for them. So let's just kind of eyeball it. And okay, so that's good. We want the fence to be somewhere near the bottom. Okay. So the easiest way to adhere the fence is to put some glue on this piece and this piece, and then try to line them up. So I'm going to put some on here. And I like the liquid glue or tear tape because it's going to be moving around so much. So you don't want to use just regular snail. And it looks like most of this end right here. Put some glue on here. And then we're just going to adhere it near the bottom. About as even as you can make it. A little glue coming out. It's fine, we could erase that later. Okay. And then there's your little fence. So now let's see, I think most everything else we're going to put on with dimensional. So let's pull out these guys. So we'll put the sheep on the front. Stick a bunch of dimensionals on this guy. So he is hanging up. That way he's popped up nice. So has anybody ordered these dies and stamps yet? Curious if you guys have made any cards. So you could have slid his feet under the fence. I kind of like it above though, so that's what we're going with. Kind of there. And then this guy, we'll put some dimensionals on him. And give him some height as well. And then we'll put the little balloons on dimensionals. And let's see, we need him to have enough room. So that should be good. All right, so we're gonna use the mini dimensionals on this guy. So do you think this card is easy or hard? Does it look a little bit easier now that you've kind of seen it assembled and cut together? All right, you'll have to let me know what you think. So there's one balloon. Kind of put the yellow one in the middle so it's kind of separate from the sun a little bit. And we can overlap them. And then we'll put the last balloon on there. And there we go. Might have put the balloon on backwards, I wonder. We'll see. Okay. So now you would take a little glue dot, which I forgot to bring over here. I don't see them. So you'd put a glue dot on there, and then you would just pull all your little strings together and assemble it. So I'm going to leave that part off since I don't have the glue dots over here. But at least you can see the finished card. So that's all there is to a double Z fold. You can do it for lots of different things. I made a Halloween card as well using this same fold, but it just came out a little different. And then this one I just went to town using all the different pieces that we had. So what do you think of that? That's a lot of fun, and then it stands up so cute when you give it to someone. And like I said, you can write, there's not a lot of room here, so you can write a little bit there, or you can write on the back here. And you can see I have my paper's a little bit longer, so I'm going to use my paper trimmer later, and I'll just trim those little teeny edges off. I can just run them through real quick. So we'll do that. And always remember to stamp your envelope because it's more fun when there's a little face on there. And then some fun words on the back as well. So let's take a quick look at the cards from today that we made. And then I'll show you the other cards with the sheep. So let's move this scratch paper out of the way. So these are our double Z folds. And then these are our little fun designer paper cards that we made. Let's move all that out of the way. All right, what do you think? I'm glad you love it. They were so much fun. So I have one other card that you guys haven't seen yet. I couldn't figure out, I guess I could have done like a quick video of it because it has a wobble on it. But I'll show you that one last. So here are the cards I shared earlier this week. This one I used the pink paper. If you have a baby, a boy, you could do blue paper. Or if you don't know, you could do green or yellow. But this gives you just a fun little baby card you can use the sheep for. And then I love these little peekaboo dies. So I have them coming out, having a little party, and some little flowers. So didn't really stamp inside that one. Then you can use them for Christmas. So he's got a little Santa hat from the sweet little stocking suite, and then a little bit of ornaments in there. So that's kind of a fun fold as well. That one's pretty easy to do, and it's quick. This is the other one I showed you guys, where I stamped on the felt. So you couldn't tell in the picture online as much, but I stamped on the white felt and then I backed it on a thick piece of white paper to kind of pop it up. And I used the die Stays On ink and then the Blends to Colors face. And here you can see that the fence is embossed. So the die cuts and embosses at the same time. And we have some little raindrop embellishments that I used on there. And the sentiment, thank you so much, is actually from another stamp set, that Happy Hippos, or Hippo Happiness, I think it is. It coordinates too. There's some sheep and stuff in that one, and it's really cute sentiments in there. So this one I did a little Wink of Stella. Don't know if you could see it glittering on his little body. So those are some cards, and then this is the one you guys haven't seen yet. So I put him on a wobble spring, so he jumps over the fence. And again, I used the wood paper to do that. And the sentiment is actually from a Thanksgiving die cut. I just cut off the end of the rest of the Thanksgiving and used the alphabet to do the U on there. And if you look here, you can see like the wobble spring. They sell them on Amazon. It's not a Stampin' Up! Thing, but it's fun when you can make your card more interactive. So those are our cards for this week's showcase. Let's see, next week, I guess let me give you a quick preview of what we're doing for next week. So next week is the last week I'll be doing Sale-a-bration Showcase. It's the last full week of September. So I will be showcasing the Summer Shadow dies. So these are free with a $100 order, and they coordinate with a beautiful stamp set that is in the catalog, and I forgot to bring it over. But it's a very pretty stamp set. It's, let's see, page 75, so I can show you actually in the catalog what it looks like. So I don't actually have the stamp set, so this week I will be showcasing mostly using the dies with it, and not these two because I don't have the images. So page 75. But if you do like the stamp set and you want it, don't miss out on the dies, because once September 30th is gone, they will be gone forever. So these are the stamps. Beautiful sentiments too, so definitely worthwhile. You can see some really pretty samples that they've made with it. And it says, above and beyond, you go there a lot. Love you, friend. May the good you do come back to you. Happy birthday. Thank you. Some friendships are just meant to be. And hello, you. So lots of beautiful sentiments, and then the flowers as well. The other thing I wanted to show you. So tonight I used those border dies, and they are just a die set on their own. They don't have any coordinating stamps with them, so they're just listed in the back. So sometimes they get missed because they're kind of just hidden back here. So these are the ones we used tonight, the border dies. And they're $29, and you get to make 6 different borders. So you've seen lots of versatility in those guys. Then, let's see, what else did I want to show you? The adhesive. So we have the 3 different types of dimensionals on the adhesive page. We have the regular Stampin' Dimensionals, which are the larger ones. Then we sell the minis, and then the black dimensionals come in that multi-pack of sizes, so it has large and small, so that's kind of cool. And then if you're wondering about that cool black and white paper, that is one of my favorite packs, and that's a host stamp set. It's called Party Pattern, or Pattern Party. And it's a huge pack of paper. You get 4 of each of 12 double-sided designs, and there's 48 sheets. So it's a huge multi-pack. So it's lots of rainbow colors on one side and black and white on the other. So I use that a lot. Those are some of my favorite papers in the catalog. And the only way to get that is if you host a party or if your order's over $150. You can use your Stampin' Rewards for those. Anyway, that I think is pretty much what I used tonight. And hopefully you learned some new techniques and you found it fun and learned something new. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to post below or send me a message, and I'd be happy to help you with any questions. If you don't have a demonstrator and you'd like to order, I have my host code and my ordering website up at the top. It also has an events tab there so you can see other things that are going on. And then if you're watching this on YouTube, feel free to subscribe to me. I'd love to have you follow me. And you can also follow me on Stampin' Butterfly on Facebook page too. So have a great night. Thank you so much for joining me, guys, and I will talk with you soon.